Well, greetings once again, my friends and my fellow Star Trek fans. Welcome to another video. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope my videos put a little smile on your face. You can always depend on Star Trek putting a little bit of happiness. Anyway, what I want to talk about today is we're going to talk about model kits. And we're going to be talking about the one that started it all, the 1966 AMT U.S.S. Enterprise, the spaceship model kit that we all grew up with. I'm going to give you a history of the packaging, and we're going to come full circle. So when it comes to the model kits, I've shown you guys, I like to do histories of the models. I've shown you the 1537 Enterprise and the different model kits. I've shown you different ships like the Enterprise C and the D, and we've gone through and looked at the history. And the one I got coming up, my next one on that, is I'm going to be doing the Klingon Bird of Prey. We're going to be taking a look at the 1350 from its first release, and we're going to come full circle to the latest release by round 2. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be looking at one of the most fantastic models in my opinion, and the one that I have right now. Look at this, we got the 50th anniversary, and this is the reissue of the illustration or the painting of the Enterprise from 1966, and this was released by AMT Round 2 Corporation, and this was during the 50th anniversary of Star Trek. So we're going to take a look at all these model kits from the original to the latest. And and I'm talking, guys, about this particular release with this particular packaging, because I've got the long box version, and I've got the latest release on that, but that's going to be a different video. This is going to be the original release with the painting, the illustrating, the beautiful U.S.S. Enterprise. So why don't we go over to the desk where there's more room, and we're going to take a little history, little historic tour through the model kits of the one that started it all, AMT's Star Trek U.S.S. Enterprise spaceship model kit. Okay, so let's start off. I'm very, very happy to show you guys. This is the first one that kicked everything off. AMT had gotten the rights for a new show called Star Trek. Very smartly, they got the rights to all of the vessels and all the vehicles. In exchange, AMT models actually constructed the Galileo, the shuttlecraft, and actually I'm going to do a video on that whole history. This is going to be about the kits. This is actually the first one. Remember, most of us grew up with this one. You can see it didn't have a picture of the model, it had the illustration, and you can see the sensor dome emitting a beam. And just beautiful, and these are not scratches, these are shooting stars in the background, and you can see it orbiting a planet. The second release, they ended up doing the long box, and they put a picture of the actual finished model. So that's going to be another video. I'm going to show you guys the original, and we're going to go through the history of that kit. Again, I'm not talking about there are different the packaging. That's what I want to focus on. I am going to do a model where I'm going to actually video where I'm going to unbox the original, and we're going to unbox the latest version, and I'm going to show you the differences in the molds, because the molds were very different. Anyway, this is from 1966, and this is Star Trek and the U.S.S. Enterprise spaceship model kit. And this is from 1966, Desilu Productions Incorporated, all rights reserved. And you guys may or may not know that Lucille Ball and her husband, Desi Arnaz, they actually had a studio company. And when Gene Roddenberry was looking for people to pick up the pilot edition of his new show called Star Trek. This was a series that he termed The Wagon Train to the Stars. It was actually Desilu Studios that took a chance on it. So the next time you watch I Love Lucy, or you see Lucille Ball with the Three Stooges, we can remember we need to thank them for Star Trek. Let's have the ship go by. You got the illustration or the painting. Again, this is before they changed it over to the model. So that's the front of the box. It's just iconic now. And you look at the ends and you can see. One way to tell if this is the original, you look over here and you see 921-200. And that is the very first model kit released. And I love this. I'm still looking for the edition still in the plastic wrap. I will find it someday, but for now, this one is open. So you can see both ends of the box are the same, AMT 921-200. So let's take a look. Some of the characteristics where you might be looking for a kit, and you might go on eBay and you might get fooled, because when it comes to this model kit, there have been other releases. And if someone is trying to pass it off as this particular kit, they'll put vintage and they can put 1966. Well, in a sense, they're not lying, because that 1966 was the original release for this one. One good way to tell is if you look at the side of the box and you got the black square that's all the way to the right-hand side. Just remember, you'll see made in the USA on the bottom, and you will see as seen on NBC TV. Interestingly, the Aurora company had put out an edition or a version of their own with the same molds, but it actually says as seen on the BBC TV. That's one way to tell that it's authentic, and it's the model kit that has the lighting kit, and it's the original release. We can see the illustration that's on the cover, and we see a photograph of the amazing William Shatner, Captain James T. Kirk, and U.S.S. Enterprise spaceship model kit. Okay, when we look at the other side of the box, another way to tell the difference between this and the releases that are new, again, you have the picture of Mr. Spock all the way to the right, but now you have a light blue square. And it's written features, operating upper and lower dome lights, twin power units, complete with display stand. Total length of the spaceship is 18 inches with colorful decals. And you can see AMT, Corporation 1225 East Maple Road, Troy, Michigan. Cement not included with kit. And if you look at a new release, it's not going to say that. It might say it might give all of the descriptions, but it won't say the lights, because this one came with a lighting kit. The new ones do not. Again, you got the illustration and the spaceship model kit, and there's nothing on the back. So this is the absolute original release for this amazing kit. So let's put this to the side for a minute. Round 2 has an AMT has released this several times. They've come out in different versions. They went to the long box, they went to the smaller version of the long box, but it's upright with the same picture. They switched over where they actually used a painting of the ship again, and they've come full circle with round 2, where not only did they release the kit again, they actually released the packaging as a special. So let me show you guys. This was the 50th anniversary of Star Trek, and this is the one that they released. It comes with the clear plastic sleeve, and you can see the 50, and it's to honor the original release, right down to that beautiful painting. Looking at the end of the box, the big difference from this one, you can see it says AMT 947-12. Other than that, it looks pretty much the same, and that's the same on both ends of the box. So to look at the sides a little bit better, I'm going to take off the plastic sleeve. And that's a nice touch. That's absolutely beautiful. U.S.S. Enterprise NCC-1701 1/650 scale glued together plastic model kit. And that's basically it. So let's put this aside. All right, let's take a look at the box. Again, you may be looking on eBay and you might be looking for something vintage, and if you see this, you might go, oh my goodness, because let's say it's 50 bucks. Whereas if you see the original, chances are you're not going to get the original for $50. I mean, unless it's if it's complete, if someone started it, there's pieces missing and the box is all ripped up, maybe you can get it for $50 or so. But this is the reissue. This was the 50th anniversary release. And when it comes to the illustration, you really won't be able to tell the difference, because you see the ships, it's almost the identical art. You go down to Star Trek, and where you see 1966 Desilu Productions, when you switch over to the new release, they don't have that. But everything else is the same. So if you're looking for a vintage kit and someone's trying to sell you this and passing it off as vintage, one way to tell right off the bat is that there's no writing in the white line of the box on the front. And again, when you look at the side, it's just about identical to the original release, with one very, very, very important difference. The original is 921-200, whereas the re-release is AMT 947-12. Other than that, they're very, very close. And when you look at the side of the box, and by the way, that's the same on both ends. So when you look at the side of the box, you can see the black box I was telling you about. Instead of having As Seen on NBC, we have the 50th anniversary. Now this is just for this release, because they have released this in another version, and I'm going to get to that one in a minute. But it doesn't have the 50 in the Delta. You can see the illustration and the same photograph of William Shatner. And the AMT, there's nothing beneath it. And when we look at the original, see what I mean about the As Seen on NBC? And other than that, everything else is identical. So let's look at the other side of the box. And again, we have Mr. Spock, and we have the features. Now, on the original release, like I had said, we have the features in the same blue box. They both have Mr. Spock. And now the bottom says features, twin power units, complete with display stand. Total length of the spaceship is 18 inches, colorful decals. And now we switch over to round 2. Corporation 4073 Memphis, what is that? Beeler, Connecticut. Beeler Court, excuse me, South Bend, Indiana 46628. Cement not included with kit, and we had gone over the original operating in upper lower dome lights. So that's just something to keep in mind if you're looking for the original version of this kit and you see someone on eBay trying to pass this one off as the original. There are differences that you can look at. And in my next video on this kit, we're actually going to do an unboxing of the original and an unboxing of this one, and we're going to compare the parts, because these are two totally different molds. Totally different. Another big way to tell that this is the reissue is, look at the back. And we've got the beautiful model that was finished. Who finished that? Usually it's small artworks. But I can't see the, it doesn't say. Yes, picture model professionally built, finished, and photographed by E. James Small Artworks, CA. So he usually makes the models. He does a phenomenal job. Look at how he painted the Bassard collector. It looks just amazing. This is Star Trek the Original Series. Water slide decals and sticker sheet both feature all markings and window options in black or white. And look at how he did the, I love it, the chiller grills. Because originally they had wanted to light the chiller grills on the insides of the nacelles, but it wasn't in the budget. And they went on to do that in Star Trek the Motion Picture. And even the ship Phase 2, I believe, has the lit inner chiller grills. And this is commemorating 50 years of Star Trek. Again, at the time, this was released in 2016. And it's got the dome base. Now includes a dome base with the metal support rod. And that's a really, really good, it's a good base, because if you guys remember, the original base that came with this kit is awesome. It's the triangle and it has the arm. But what they had done after that with the long box, or the smaller stand-up version of the long box, had the way it was is like picture two T's, and it had one strip of plastic and the ship rested on it. And oh man, it used to get knocked over all the time on my bureau. And that, now they put the dome base and everything, and that's a really sturdy, really nice base. Check with your retailer for more great Star Trek kits available now from AMT. I've done that model. I want to redo it to do a better version, but they do. I have shown you the original version of that model. Space, the final frontier. With these indelible words, Star Trek, the original series, began 50 years with the U.S.S. Enterprise NCC-1701 and her intrepid crew, starting the exploratory mission through space that would take television audiences along for the journey. This kit by AMT presents a proper commemoration of the anniversary by offering the classic glue-together model kit of the U.S.S. Enterprise that longtime fans are sure to remember. The model features updates such as a smooth saucer top and the addition of the handsome dome base and metal rod to support the model. The kit is molded in gray to match the original filming miniature and includes both water slide decals and sticker options to allow the modelers of all skill levels to authentically decorate the starship. An illustrated instruction guide is included to aid in assembly. U.S.S. Enterprise NCC-1701 1/650 scale plastic assembly glue-together model kit. And again, this is item number AMT 947-12. And StarTrek.com on the bottom. So this is the special edition that they released for the 50th anniversary of, in my opinion, the greatest show that was ever on television. So let me put this back on. And in later issues, they don't have this packaging anymore. This was just special for the 50th anniversary. But when it comes to this packaging, there is one more that I want to show you that they actually had done. So let's put that to the side. I don't want that to fall. Okay. There is one more to show you with this packaging. And this one is a special collector's tin. And this is really cool. I love it. The everything is embossed. The ship is embossed. And you've got the same front as the other original model. One way to tell is you see where it says Spaceship Model Kit? The middle line is like a purplish pink. When you look at the tin version, the middle line is a light green. And you've got U.S.S. Enterprise in green, whereas the original is light blue. And then you've got the Enterprise, and there's no writing in this line, just like on the re-release. Obviously, when you look at this, you're going to be able to tell it's not the original because that didn't come in a collector tin. But I do love the collector tins. This is the collector's edition U.S.S. Enterprise NCC-1701 featuring vintage style packing art in a collector's tin. I love it. So much like the other release, you can see the ends of the box are the same, where they're emulating the original release, and this one is a different model number. This is AMT 640, the one with the collector's tin. And again, that's the same on both ends of the box. And when we look at the side, with the featuring light blue box, again we have Mr. Spock. And this time we have twin power units complete with display stand. Total length of spaceship is 18 inches with a colorful decal sheet. And this is round 2 from South Bend, Indiana. And this is the features box. Again, it's different than the original release, but it's the same as that release. Looking over, we have the illustration, and we have the spaceship, Star Trek U.S.S. Enterprise spaceship model kit. Now when we look at the other side of the box, that black square that had as seen on NBC now has the information and a website. And again, AMT did not have a website in 1966. AMT is a registered trademark of Learning Curve Brands Incorporated, licensed under Round 2 Corporation. Learning Curve Brands Incorporated, all rights reserved. CBS Studios. Star Trek and related marks are trademarks of CBS Studios. Paramount Pictures Corporation, all rights reserved. And this is 2009, round 2. Yeah, this came out in 2009. I thought it was later than that. But the date is right there for you guys. And we've got the illustration, and we have William Shatner, and it's the same at the end. So there's a lot of people that try to pass these kits off as vintage. I don't want you guys to get misled and buy something or overpay for something that's not that kit. Obviously, when you get a collector tin, you know this is not vintage. It's vintage packaging, but the model kit is not vintage. That one is not vintage. They may try to pass it off though. This one will be easier to spot because it's in a collector tin. But when you look at this one, if they try to pass it off as the original, well, for one, most of them are sold when they were released with the jacket, the dust jacket. And obviously that's a way to tell it's not, vintage with the 50 in it. But when they take off the jacket and they sell it without the jacket, well, now you're thinking, well, geez, could this be the original? And there are ways to tell. I went over most of the ways that you can tell the original vintage version from the re-release. So my friends, I hope that helps you a little bit in your understanding of these models. And like I said, we're going to be doing a video very soon where I'm going to actually unbox them. And we're going to do a side-by-side unboxing of the 1966 version as opposed to the 2016 version. So my friends, that's going to be a really fun video. And at some point we'll do the same thing with the long box. But until the video, thank you so much for watching, my friends, and I'll talk to you guys soon.